You are Locked On Seminoles, your daily podcast on the Florida State Seminoles, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Seminoles. Happy Saturday, everybody. And you know what day it is. You know what time it is. It's your boy, Drake. I am here with Mr. Danny Domino himself for our Week 7 Pick'em Pod. The Thick Tribunal is here to help you thicken up your walls. Danny boy, how's it going, my guy?
Yeah, I'm doing good, Drake. Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
We kind of have to talk about. I know we're having you back on, but the past few weeks haven't been a little kind to you, my guy. Do you have any thoughts or things you want to say to the audience?
Last few weeks, I've been getting beat up a little bit. You know, it's like a boxing match. First couple weeks, I threw my punches. Just got to absorb these in the last couple weeks and keep moving forward.
Hey, you're not wrong about that, and folks, that's why they call it gambling and not winning. You taught me that, I think, week 2, and listen, I went even. I got the records up right here. Let me pull them up really quickly. So as you can see here, folks, we did okay. I mean, like I went 6-6, for a 500 average. Danny though had a little bit of a rough week, especially in that 6-shooter with a 4-8. But his bankroll builder did hit. We did agree on our 1 out of 4.5. We did not hit the double down because Dan Mullen is a terrible, terrible college head coach. Dan Mullen, I have no idea how you can be so bad at your job that you lose a game and still get the other head coach fired. But we are not here to discuss the games of the past. We are here to discuss the games of this weekend as we record this on Wednesday. Danny, let's go to the first game on your slate.
I'm going to start it off just like I did last week. I'm going bankroll builder, and I'm going Oklahoma State. Right now, I'm seeing them at plus 225. The plus 225 line gives an implied winning percentage of 31%. If you're going to tell me Oklahoma State's only winning this game 1 out of 3 times against Iowa State, I'm not believing it. Again, pretty much I'm going to hit on the same points as last week. They're 3-0 against ranked teams. And I think people are starting to come back around on Iowa State for that preseason hype. But if you really look at it, if you take out their wins, their 59-7 win against Kansas and their 48-3 win over UNLV, who those two might be two of the bottom 10 programs in the country. They're only averaging 24 points a game. They're giving up 22. So they do have some common opponents. They lost to Baylor. Oklahoma State beat them. They beat Kansas State. Oklahoma State also beat Kansas State. So they should have some pretty good film. But, man, this Oklahoma State team, I got a good feeling about them. I love Iowa State, and it's sort of a hedge for me because I have a lot of Iowa State futures out there, their conference wins, to them to win the Big 12. But Oklahoma State plus 225, big time, and it hits the trend that I've been talking about the last couple of weeks. Dogs of 7 or more with totals under 48. Huge win percentage, went 4-2 last weekend. I'm going to be on Oklahoma State plus 7, but more importantly, I'll be on a plus 225, winning the game outright.
Yeah, this game's weird to me primarily. I was one of those big proponents last year and entering this year that Iowa State's a very good football team, whether it be their head coach, Matt Campbell, their quarterback, Brock Purdy, a.k.a. Chuba's older brother, and probably one of the top 5, maybe the top 8 in the country with Charlie Kohler. But they've probably, I don't know whether they have not met their expectations or this is just who they are now that the spotlight is on them. And then with Oklahoma State, they're quietly one of the better teams in the country, even though I personally don't think that they're the 8th best team in the country. I think their quarterback, Spencer Sanders, isn't particularly great. But I do like the value at 225. I'm not going to ride with you with the money line, though. I'm going to actually take Oklahoma State plus 7 with the points. I think it's a really close game. I think Oklahoma State has a chance to win the game, but I'll be taking the spread here. So, folks, for the bankroll builder with Danny, take Oklahoma State plus 225. And if you're not as gutsy as Danny, you want to ride with me, it'll be on the safer side. Take Oklahoma State plus 7. Now, Daniel, where are we off to next?
I'm going down to the great state of Texas, and I'm going to take Houston here, minus 13, against an ECU Pirate squad who we wrote as our double down a couple weeks ago against UCF. If you look at their conference games, Houston, they're winning 37-17. This defense is legit. It's a legit group of 5 defense that can definitely cause problems. They're both on bye weeks as well. I do like taking unders with both teams coming off a bye, a little more time to prepare, maybe, not as smooth coming out on offense, but I'm not touching that. Give me Houston minus 13. I think this Houston seems legit on both sides of the ball, and I'm going to be riding this train for a while.
I really so badly want to bet against you on this, mainly because I am not a believer in Dana Holgorsen. I personally am not. I don't understand why he left the solid situation that he had at West Virginia and go back to Houston. He's formerly from Houston, right? Like that's where he's
I believe so.
Yeah. And then their quarterback Clayton Tune, I'm not a big believer actually in him either. The thing is though, with ECU, the reason we were so high on ECU against UCF was we knew how bad UCF became when Dylan Gabriel got out. Yep. And they also were missing their starting running back in Isaiah Bowser.
Yep.
And ECU, I said before, I said again, like that is a team that every year you have no idea what you're going to get, and they either cause chaos and they embrace chaos.
Every year they have some weird games, man, that are not even close to the spread.
Not even close. I'm going to stay away from this one mainly because I'm trying to find a reason to take it. And one of my big rules is if I have to do that, and it's probably wise for me to sit this one out.
I agree with that rule.
I'm sitting this one out. Danny, ride with Danny at Houston minus 13 for one of his picks. And I feel you have another pick in the state of Texas actually for the rest of the week.
Yeah. So I actually have 2 picks here. I'm going to be a Roadrunner beep beep. UTSA minus 6.5 here. And their team total over 33.5. Louisiana Tech just lost to UTEP. And UTEP had 4 turnovers. They lost 19-7. You can't lose to UTEP. UTEP's a good story so far, but they're not a great team. But in Louisiana Tech, they played close games, which is sort of weird. 5 of their 6 games have been 1 possessions. That includes games against SMU and Mississippi State, but that also includes game against Southeast Louisiana. So you're not really sure what you're getting with them. I know what I'm getting with UTSA. Their quarterback has a 14-3 touchdown to pick ratio. They have an 800-yard running back. I believe his name's McKissick or something like that. One of the best running backs in the country that you've probably never heard of. And they have 3 wide receivers approaching 500 yards. They have no real number 1 on the outside, but they have 3 solid options, which I think is huge because Louisiana Tech gives up 460 yards per game.
Wow.
The Roadrunners are going to do their thing. They're ranked for the first time in program history coming out. I don't think there's a letdown spot here. If you read anything about their coach, I forget his name, but ESPN's all over him. There's articles on all different outlets with him and his connections in the Texas State. He's one of the most influential people. Some people in the high school community say he's more influential than Gary Patterson. Yeah. So keep an eye out for this team. Not only this year, if he stays, this is a team in the next couple years, could be the next Coastal. Just saying. So I'm on UTSA minus 6.5, team total over 33.5. I'll take it any way you want to give it to me.
Danny, this is why I feel we're so simpatico with this. I'm a huge fan of the Roadrunners. If any of you guys follow me on Twitter at @tally__Drake, I drop my own personal AP ballot probably before they drop the ones on Sunday. And I've had UTSA in the top 25 the past 3 weeks. To me, this is probably one of the best teams in the country. They're the best team, obviously, in the Conference USA. And that's also why that they are the official Danny and Drake double down of the week with UTSA minus 6.5. I love this team for all Danny reasons said. For all the reasons Danny said. Like, to me, it's a great offense. They have a particularly easier schedule, and the team they're playing is, I think it's kind of overrated. They're not good. They're not really that good at all whatsoever. So, folks, take Danny and Drake's double down officially with UTSA minus 6.5. I'm not going to double down with the over 33.5, but I will give you my blessing and ride with you as well, folks. Take UTSA team total over 33.5. Ride with the boys, and we will make you some money this weekend. Now, Danny, there is a rivalry occurring actually also this weekend. It's not one of the It's not a state rivalry. It's not even a conference rivalry, but it's a rivalry of blue bloods. Take us down over to, is it in Southern Cal or is it over in South
I
Bend?
think it's in South Bend. You
Take
can't
us
even say
down to
conference rivalry because Notre Dame isn't in a conference, which is a whole story on itself, but we won't get started on that. So I'm going to be on the USC Notre Dame over 57.5 here. USC game, their totals average 59.5. Notre Dame's average 55 and a third. But if you take out USC's first game against San Jose State, that total jump, their average is 64 in their last 5 games. If you take out the Cincinnati game for Notre Dame, their total jumps to 59. Drake London is must-see TV. Told you about Calvin Austin III a couple weeks ago in Memphis. Drake London is probably the best receiver in the country right now. The stats he is putting up is incredible.
He's really damn good.
He's really good. But both these defenses, this is a story. They both give up almost 400 yards of offense, and neither one of them has played a particularly hard offensive schedule. They're both in like the 380s.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah. This over 57 has hit in 4 out of 6 USC games. It's hit in half the Notre Dame games, but again, saying they're not going against a huge offensive team. They played Wisconsin in one of them, and then they had the game against Cincinnati. So, I mean, I love this over. I don't think USC can stop a nosebleed. I think Notre Dame's going to get their offense right here a little bit, but I don't think anyone's really stopping this USC offense. I love this over 57.5. I'd play this. This is going to hit in the third quarter. It's a 2-unit play. Why not? 2 units.
You're going to put 2 units on this?
2 units on it.
Folks, I actually had to cut out a portion of this. I actually asked Danny. I was debating taking the under going up against him on this, but then he informed me that out of the 6 games that Notre Dame has played, the over has hit 4 times. 3 of them. Even though the Wisconsin game, it was because of 2 pick sixes and a kick 6 in the fourth quarter.
Some fluke stuff, but that over hit. So if you want to talk over records, USC Notre Dame over 57.5, 2 units. I think this hits in the third quarter.
I'm also not touching this either. I actually have a different play on this game. I'll reveal on my 6-shooter, but the total, I like the under bet in this one. But if Danny, comes out with these stats and these trends and is kind of convincing me that, you know what, Drake, as your friend, sit back, relax, just watch and enjoy the game and take something else.
The points scored.
I'm going to listen to him. So, folks, I will be sitting out, but if you want to ride with Danny, the point hungry man over here, take USC Notre Dame over 57.5 in South Bend. And now, Daniel, I think we need to take a little bit of a trip to the Mile High City, Colorado.
Yeah, I hear some dogs barking over there. My one last week didn't go too well because Western Michigan scored 4 touchdowns in a span, I believe, 5 minutes. Sort of blew that one out of the water.
So bad.
That was terrible.
That was
awful. Yeah, I looked at halftime. I was like, oh, this is pretty close now. I looked in the third quarter. I was like, yep, this lost. I'm on Colorado +9. Love the Buffs here. A couple different metrics I looked at, including PFF Green Line, says that Colorado would be the favorite on a neutral site, and they're catching 9 here. And I can tell you there's no college football stadiums worth 10 points for home field advantage, especially not Cal Berkeley. This Colorado team, their record is not good, but they lost to Texas A&M by 3, and it was a 4-point game with Arizona State in the third quarter. They showed they can hang with some of the better teams. And this Cal team gives up 400 yards per game. Anytime you're telling me a team that gives that up is almost a double-digit favorite, immediately catches my eye. And Cal's only wins against D1AA Sacramento State, I believe. Sacramento State or Cal Poly, I'm not sure on that. But then again, like I said with Oklahoma State, this hits that trend that I love. Conference dogs of more than 7 with totals under 48. So I'm all over the Buffs here. Colorado +9, sign me up.
Yeah, Danny, I'm actually going to take the Colorado +9 with you as well. I love Colorado. I think I was one of the few people that took them against Texas A&M primarily because whenever Jimbo runs into a defensive game plan or an offensive game plan that makes him try to go faster, he always just absolutely the bet. And with Colorado +9, I love that play. And the fact you told me that they would be favored on a neutral site field.
Multiple metrics said that. And I was like, I don't know if that's right, but 2 different places had it. So I'm going to ride with the analytical people here and do it. And again, I mean, this Colorado team, they were firing on all cylinders last year. A lot of people had Colorado as a team that can surprise people in the Pac-12 this year. I'm gonna keep riding with it. I'll gladly take the Buffs. Run, Ralphie, run.
Yeah, I mean, here, run, Ralphie, run. Yeah, they're not a bad team, and also like with analytics, like I love those. And like I know we have this debate where whether you go with your analytics or you go with your gut. My gut's telling me to go with the analytics, the best of both worlds. Porque no los dos. So folks, ride with Danny and I at Colorado +9. And Danny, it's about that time.
I think
it's about that time. It's about that time. 6 your time, Danny. Put them up. I'm going to give you a minute on the clock to get.
I'm going to redeem myself this last.
You're going to redeem yourself.
Redeeming myself. 6-0 here. 6-0.
I'm about to say, I think you were fine on the regular picks. And I mean, you said the trend was 4-2 last week. I'm pretty sure all four of those were the only wins you had last week. So
okay, well that's chill because you didn't count my Kentucky +22 pick.
You didn't confirm that on the show, folks. You didn't confirm that on the show. So Danny, let me know when you're ready. And
take a drink of water, quick.
You drink of water. And folks, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, even our podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast from. And also like and share this YouTube page. Hit the little bell to get a reminder and notification whenever we go live or whenever a video drops. Danny, you're good to go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, I'm taking LSU Ole Miss under 76. Rumors of a limited or no Matt Corral. And between these two teams, they've played 13 games. It's only hit 3 of the 13 times. I'm taking that under. Ohio State -20. Let's effing go. Indiana is not good. Give me Ohio State -20. Buffalo -11. Akron is a terrible football team. Buffalo is just bad. I think this is an ugly action game. Give me Buffalo -11. Western Kentucky -15. Go Hilltoppers. And I'm fading Florida International the rest of the year. Georgia Tech UVA over 62. The last 3 for Georgia Tech have averaged 66. UVA's last 5 have averaged 65. Hammering that over. And then give me Utah -3. That's the best team in the Pac-12 going up to Corvallis against my Beavers. That had to be under a minute.
You had 50 seconds. Wow.
I had one bullet point per game. I couldn't. I limited the information.
See. This is what Mike Norvell means by 1% better every single day. I know I give Max flack for using that, but Danny got 1% better by actually practicing and keeping it succinct and to the point. I commend you for that. So
what was my time? Because I practiced it and I was at 50.
You got 49.8 seconds.
Oh, I was at 53.4.
You were with the quickness. You were with the quickness. That's like some Chris Johnson CJ 2K40 like sub 4.3 4.25 kind of stuff right there.
Yeah, hey, listen, somebody's got to do it.
Somebody's got to do it. All right.
I'm pulling up my clock here.
You're pulling up your clock?
Oh yeah. Well, you can pull up yours, but I want to make sure you're not
editing
the video.
Like, folks, we have a little contest to see who finishes up the stuff first. So, Danny, let me know when I'm ready to go.
All right. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, folks, take Michigan and Northwestern under 50.5. I don't believe in this Michigan offense. Northwestern, for some reason, has been turning up a little bit, so go with the under 50.5. I'm actually going to go up against his Utah pick. I'm going Oregon State +3. I think Oregon State actually is the most underrated team in the country and sneakily maybe one of the best teams in the Pac-12. Next, give me Army, Wake under 52.5. I think Wake has a very, very good defensive team, defensive efficiency, and Army just takes too much time. And next is NC State -3. They should be favored by 7 because Miami is not good. Then give me the pick, Clemson under at 48. I think Clemson defense is still pretty damn good, and they might be able to slow down Kenny Pickett. And then lastly, give me USC +7 to beat Notre Dame because Notre Dame, to me, is the most overrated team in the country, and Jack Cohn is still the quarterback.
What was my time again?
49.8.
49.4.
With the quickness, baby. With the quickness.
Man.
Oh, I did it all in one breath. I feel that too.
That's why I always have to take a drink.
Oh, man, that was great. That was great. But, folks, We love having you here. It was a smaller slate today because, unfortunately, we got a lot of travel going on between all three of us here. But we will have this episode of you as you hear it on Saturday. Hopefully, you enjoyed the Trey Rowland episode that we were dropping Thursday and Friday of this week. Hopefully, you can catch that over on YouTube, the visual format, or wherever it's your podcast from. Danny and I are probably also going to start doing Maction. Also, that'll be on Tuesdays. It'll be a little shorter, a little treat for you. Probably be exclusively on the YouTube page. So
Maction and Fun Belt.
Maction and Fun Belt. We're all about that Maction, and we're all about the Fun Belt over here on Locked On Seminoles. And folks, just have a great weekend. Happy gambling. Best of luck to your bets. For Drake, that was Danny. We'll see you next time on Locked On Seminoles, baby.
Let's go.
Let's go.